Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:36. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Vice President Ferguson, could you do the invocation, please?
Good evening, everyone. Eternal Father, we just thank you. We give you the glory and the honor. We thank you that we know you as being the Prince of Peace, the bright and morning star. We thank you for being our Jehovah Rapha, our healer, Jehovah Shalom. And Father God, we just thank you for a time to come together to do this business of the city. We ask that you will be in the midst, that the spirit of wise counsel, order, peace, and truth be in our midst. We thank you, Lord, for your presence. We thank you, Lord, for the citizens of Glenarden, the employees of Glenarden, and everyone that's affiliated with the city. We ask that you will be with us and bless us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, could you do the roll call, please?
My understanding is Councilwoman Fareed is not going to be with us this evening. Councilwoman Guillaume?
Here, and there's something going on with the audio.
Okay, we'll address it after the roll call.
Councilman Hairston is in transit. Oh, here, okay. Councilman Herring?
Here.
Councilwoman Jones?
Here.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
Here.
And Council President Curtis?
Here. Councilwoman Guillaume, what's the sound issue that you're experiencing?
Sound like static.
There's a static sound in the background. It's like like that.
It's a hum.
Oh yeah, you might be hearing the same thing we're hearing in the building. Mr. Gray, I don't know what you can do.
No, we don't hear it anymore.
All right, there we go. All right. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I have one. That of the reports that are listed, the mayor's monthly report isn't listed, so including that for the reports. Any other discussion? Any opposition to accepting the amended agenda? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the agenda is hereby adopted. First up are a vote to accept the meeting minutes from the April 1st work session, April 9th public hearing, April 15th regular session, May 6th work session, May 15th public hearing, and May 20th regular session. Is there a motion to adopt these minutes?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, these minutes are hereby adopted. Next on the agenda is the vote on legislation. First up is R-34-2024, a resolution to revise the rules, regulations, and fee schedule for the Gold Room. Madam Clerk, I think we're just reading the body of the email and not the actual appendix or...
Right.
Yeah, all right. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 34-2024, the sponsor is President Derek Curtis, co-sponsored at the request of administration.
1 second, Madam Clerk. Mr. Gray, did you say something?
Yes, there's a buzz in the clerk's microphone. If she can use the one next to her, that would be better. Thank you.
Mr. Gray, I am using it. I have all the other mics off.
Try,
All right.
yeah, and try removing your phone from the, that might be it too.
No, it's the actually the mic is messing up. So if she can use Councilmember Herring's mic.
Okay, we had a special work session on May 28th The public hearing was June 11th. We're here in regular session June 17th, and the date of introduction was February 5th, 2024. Excuse me. A resolution to revise the rules, regulations, and fee schedules for the Gold Room. Whereas pursuant to Chapter 92 Gold Room, Section 92-1, Adoption of Rules and Regulations of the City of Glenarden Code, the City Council may adopt rules and regulations from time to time to govern the use and operation of the Gold Room, including the fees to be charged for said use. Whereas in 2012, the City Council adopted a fee schedule that reflected the fees to be charged for various types of events in the Gold Room. And whereas the types of events have changed due to legislation from Prince George's County, and whereas the rules and regulations are no longer pertinent to the types of events that occur in the Gold Room, and whereas the staff has determined that in order to make the Gold Room a self-sufficient enterprise, the rules, regulations, and fees need to be updated to reflect current market conditions. And whereas the council has agreed that it in the public interest to revise the fee schedule for the Gold Room to more fairly reimburse the city for the costs and expenses associated with the maintenance of the Gold Room. And whereas the council has reviewed the proposed rules and regulations for the operation of the Gold Room, and whereas the council has determined that it is in the public interest to amend the rules, regulations to ensure a more efficient and effective operation of the Gold Room. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Glenarden Council sitting in regular session on June 17th, 2024, does hereby declare the following. 1. The amended fee schedule for the Gold Room attached hereto and incorporated herein be adopted, and the amended rules and regulations for the Gold Room attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference be and are hereby adopted. Number 3, the master usage form and liability waiver are hereby incorporated. 4, the new gratis application is hereby incorporated. 5, the new rental agreement is hereby incorporated. And 6, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion to adopt this resolution? Once. Is there no motion? I will motion. Is there a second? Oh, okay. If there's no second. All right, well, it can't come to the floor without a motion, so we're on to the next one. Then, well, she's not here. I just motion we table it into the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have one question.
Okay.
I looked for this master use form and liability waiver are hereby incorporated. What, does anyone know what page that's on, or, because reading through it, I didn't see that.
Page 12. Hold harmless and release.
Thank you.
All right. Any opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, this has been tabled. So before we read the second one, I take it this is going to fall in the same. Since these go together, then I motion that we table Resolution R 2024, resolution to revise the rules, the regulation, and fee schedule of the community center at Woodmore Town Center. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, this has been tabled. All right, next up is Resolution R-54-2024, a resolution to approve a contract with Kevin Best as special counsel to the city for legal work assigned by the city council. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 54-2024. The sponsor is President Curtis on behalf of the City Council. The public hearing was held on May 15th and then again on June 11th. Regular session May 20th and again today, June 17th. And the date of introduction was May 6th. And we reintroduced it again on June 3rd. A resolution to contract Kevin Best as a special counsel to the City Council for legal work assigned by the City Council. Whereas the City Council has asked for a proposal from Attorney Kevin Best for the purpose of undertaking special legal work, including but not limited to providing advice on annexation, and his engagement letter dated April 17, 2024, has been provided in Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Glenarden, sitting in regular session this 17th day of June 2024, has been determined that 1, the letter of engagement dated April 17, 2024, received from Attorney Kevin Best is hereby accepted. Number 2, the assignment of legal work shall be approved by the City Council with the City Council President or Vice President authorizing payment of legal bills to be charged to the budget line item Legal Services, account 1025108211. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have one question for clarification purposes.
Councilwoman Jones?
The purpose for acquiring this attorney is just to do annexation?
That is the genesis of the need to have Mr. Best, but I do believe in the agreement. It's for anything that's approved by the council. So, yes, the annexation was the genesis of everything, and that's the primary focus. But let's say something comes up within the annexation, then we didn't want to have to come back to do another revised resolution or anything like that. So that's why we left it broad as opposed to limited in scope.
Understood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other discussion? Mr. Councilman Herring, did you want to add to that, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, Resolution R-54-2024, a resolution to approve a contract with Kevin Best as special counsel to the city for legal work assigned by the City Council is hereby adopted. Next up is Resolution R-58-2024, a resolution to award a contract to Municipal Grant Services for grant consulting. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 58-2024. The sponsor is Derek Curtis, Council President, on behalf of the City Council. Public hearings were held on May 15th and June 11th. Regular session May 20th and June 17th, and it was introduced on both May 6th and June 3rd. A resolution to award a contract to Municipal Grant Services for grant consulting. Whereas the Council of the City of Glenarden recognizes the need to consult with the professional grant writers to secure local, state, and federal grants that may be available to the city. And Whereas in accordance with Charter Section 823, the administration recommends that it is in the public's best interest that the consultant agreement with municipal grant services in substantially the form as attached in Exhibit A. And whereas pursuant to the contract, municipal grant services will provide local, state, federal, and other grant source consulting, drafting, and monitoring at a set price of $3,750 per month. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, in sitting in regular session the 17th day of June, 2024, as follows. 1, that the grant agreement is substantially the form as attached as Exhibit A and is hereby approved. 2, the council president be and is authorized to sign consultant agreement in substantially the form attached. 3, payment for services shall be taken from the American Rescue Plan line item 20-38.10.7130. And 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Bahari?
Yeah, I have a major problem with this agreement. One, I had asked that the gentleman that owns the company, Municipal Grant Solutions, be here to answer questions. And I actually asked for that at the work session, and obviously he's said, I think the council clerk got in touch with him. He said he can't make it. We're getting ready to approve a $45,000 contract, and I would like to ask questions about this contract and other things that I've found with the company. You know, I brought it up last time about the email that was written by Mr. O'Connor, who owns this company. You know, about him saying that, you know, he was working with Senator Benson when that wasn't true. She had never heard of him before. When he also said that he was, Greenwheel lobbying firm was working with Senator Benson to get us bond bill money. That wasn't true. You know, I did a little bit of research and found a article where he tried to claim $10,000 in cash that was found on the ground, which he shouldn't have done. Also, you know, I'm curious about his actions in Sea Pleasant when somebody was driving away and he shot at the back of him, and there was a major. He didn't shoot the person, but he shot at the car when he was driving away, and there was a major investigation on that. So again, we're getting ready to spend $45,000 or sign a contract for $45,000 for this gentleman, and I think I have a right as a council member to be able to ask him questions and ask his involvement with that and ask why he. You know, about these issues that I found out myself when it came down to grant writing. I think that at this point now, we can take our time because we're coming to the end of a year, end of our term. We got an interim city manager here. We're going to apply for grants and have more grants come on board, which is going to overtax not only the interim city manager, but the rest of the staff. We got programs that have already been instituted and have been approved that have not been moved forward yet. So I'm not sure why we're trying to rush through for apply for grants when we really are not, when we're behind the 8 ball already on what we already have. And I would just like to know, honestly, how many grants from the treasurer, how many grants have we received from this gentleman's work?
We were looking at it, and to date, I could say that we have received, I think, 3 grants.
3 grants.
But I still have to look back further because we got 85,000 last year.
Right.
He was working on getting some equipment grants for us, grants for the quality center,
Right.
protective cares. So those I know are in the pipeline. He's actually working on those. So.
But we actually only received about 3. Okay, see now, at a meeting we were told it was 7. And he might have been working on 7, but we only received money for 3 grants. So that's only 3 that he actually accomplished. And we paid him, we've been paying him for about a year now? Okay. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, these what we're being told doesn't jive with what is actually happening. I think we need to look more into this. So, I mean, I just think that this needs to be tabled and it needs to be looked into, and he needs to come before the council to be able to ask questions like any other vendor that we're going to do business with. Yes. Oh.
If I could, I think between the periods of February through May was a slow period for him. It was hard getting through to him because there was some kind of uncertainty what was going on. I think right there we had a little miscommunication, so I don't know much of what was happening during that time. But I could say for the last couple of weeks, he has been coming forward, giving more information, just that I need to get more from him as to the progress of the remaining grants that he's working on.
Okay.
That I can say.
All right. Thank you. I'm done.
I just follow up. So he started when? Because just for clarity, he is our grant writer currently.
Yeah, he started May last year.
Started May last year.
So he went through and got that grant for us that was ending in June, the 85,000.
Mm-hmm.
The repayment of police officers. And then he was actually working with me on the SAP grants, so he has been monitoring those as well with me. I know of the equipment that he's working on. I sent him, because some of those grants are reimbursable, so we pay for the equipment, then send it to him for him to get it reimbursed. That one in particular, I'm waiting to see what will happen.
Okay. Do you know the total dollar value of those grants?
Does it have those with it? And I know one is 5,000, which I think is the protective gear. But the equipment, I think is 40,000, between 30 and 40,000.
Okay. Mr. Simpson, I'm sorry. Do you have
I just
anything?
have a list of some of the grants that he has worked on. We're still gathering all that information because it was requested. I do know we have the police recruitment and retention grant, which was for $86,000, awarded June 30th, 2023.
Okay. So here, I pulled it up just so we can be on the same page.
Excuse me, Council President, if I may. Is everybody's mic on? You said you can't.
Who can't hear?
Rick just called me. He didn't know that. Maybe you were speaking about Charles. Charles was speaking
I
about.
need to speak in the.
No, my mic wasn't on. My apologies.
All right, so I'll just start. It's fine. I have it. So just so we're on the same page as we move forward. So we had the police recruitment and retention grant for $86,000. It was awarded last June. We have the police accountability, community, and transparency grant for $30,000. It was submitted and pending award. The Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant for $75,000 with BJAG. It was submitted and pending award. The DNR Community Parks and Playground Program for $174,000 is pending review. The Urban Renewal Tree Program for $550,000 was accepted and awarded, pending final plan and tree placement. I thought we canceled that too. Yeah, I'm just sticking with the list, people. Don't kill the messenger. The Community Garden Startup Grant for $10,000 is pending approval. Department of Homeland Security infrastructure grant through Prince George's County Homeland Security is a overall $10 million grant accepted, first level approval received, pending federal review and approval. And the local impact grant through Prince George's County for $100,000, application process pending submittal and approval. So those are the grants.
Okay, Mr. President, so I heard 2 awards and everything else is pending. Is that correct?
I
I think I heard 2 or
believe so.
3.
If you take away
and everything else is
the
pending.
the tree, yeah.
And everything else is pending. I guess my other issue is that where is the grant package for all of these grants? And I had actually asked Mr. Simpson to reach out because that information belongs to the city of Glenarden, not to municipal government solutions or municipal grant services. So we should have all of that, all the paperwork, everything that was filled out, everything that was submitted, and everything that was signed off on should be in our possession. And we don't have that, correct? Mr. Simpson or Mr. Stewart?
Okay, so with regard to the gold cap grants, I could actually access those and pull that information without his assistance there. But for the others, I really lean on him to give those to me. So we'll be following up. So in the next couple of days, we should be able to pull all of that information. But gold cap, I'm good. I could get those.
And I guess my issue is this, having worked with plenty of grant companies, they've always submitted the packet when the grant was filled out. The packet always came to the city because we signed off on it and everything. We need to have it for your records.
Yes.
Also for reimbursable, for the reimbursable grants, we definitely need to have the packet and see what the criteria is and what they require for reimbursement. So I'm not understanding why we have not received that, and he's been on board for a year and he should know that. And I requested it and we still haven't gotten it, correct?
Correct, not as of yet.
All right, thank you.
So are you making a motion?
To what?
You said that you want to make a motion to table. Are you making a motion?
I didn't make a motion, but I can make a motion to table. And I will make a motion to table.
Thank you. Is there a second? I will second it. Any discussion?
Council President?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize for my voice. I was gonna say, I'm fine with us tabling, given some time frame, if permissible. Like, can we table it until, Councilman Herring or whoever else has time to ask the particular consultant or applicant the questions that he needs to be asked? I believe that's what Councilman Herring said. I'm not sure, but just giving some context so we don't keep coming right back to this, thinking that we're going to vote and we just keep tabling and tabling.
100% agree. Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you, Council President. I don't agree because we've been going over and over and over this. This man has been our grant writer for over a year. When he first came on board, none of these questions came up. None of these issues were presented. And now that I don't understand what, I know there was the treasurer said, there was a breakdown in communication between the former city manager and the grant writer, but that has nothing to do with the work that he's presented. When you're writing grants, it takes time for these grants to go through. They're just not going to happen instantaneously. So we've gone over this. This is the third time this has come forth to the council. I think we need to move forward with it. He is our grant writer. He is writing grants for us. In order to get these grants, we're going to need a grant writer to obtain them. I don't understand that why we keep dragging our feet about something that this person has been on board and writing grants for us and obtaining grants for us for over a year. Thank you, Council President.
Okay. Any other discussion? Vice President Ferguson?
Yes, Councilman Herring.
Yes.
You spoke of some subjects that, some findings. Yes, we have had this, he has written grants for us. He's been here for over a year. But what I've heard this evening is something new. I don't know whether, how you came about that, whether it's a research or whatever, but it's worth discussing. So is there a particular way you acquired this
Yes,
information?
I actually would send you the news articles. Most of it was in where he lives, Calvert County or wherever he lives, is in their newspapers. That's how I found it. So I sit through there. So I will send you the articles.
Okay, I think it's fair to, whether it's find out that it's not true or not, just to get it out the way and be done with it. Other than that, then we can go forth and vote. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so there was a motion, there was a second, there was discussion. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Voice, there's opposition. So, Madam Clerk, a voice vote, please.
Councilwoman Guillaume,
I'm fine tabling as long as we have a time frame.
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
table.
Yeah, he said yes.
Okay. Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
No.
Council Vice President Ferguson.
Yes, with the idea that we're going to pursue this quickly so that we can go on with this legislation.
All right. And Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries to table. Do we have a date in mind?
So, we can table it. I mean, we're going to have another regular session meeting fairly soon. So, if we could get questions answered within the next week, that'll be great. I mean, we can still get emails. So, all right. And Mr. Herring,
Yes.
if you want to reach out to Mr. O'Connor directly, that'd be great too.
I don't have private conversations with vendors. And he needs to come to a meeting.
I can't promise you that his schedule will align with ours,
Okay.
but
I mean, you don't. I mean, I'm just saying he should be no different than anybody else that comes before us. It's $45,000. He should come before this council and answer questions like anybody else would have to do.
so I understand. And I'm not, but we don't meet with all our vendors.
Resolutions that we pass, we've met with most of the vendors that we've passed resolutions for. We've had conversations with them before we vote on them, especially large ones like this.
I respect your right to want to interview them, and I'll leave it there. All right, we're on to the next. These should be fairly quick. How about I just go through these? What's this one? Oh, no, I like Council Clerk do that. Council Clerk. Next up is Resolution R-59-2024, a resolution to select the City Council President for the final year of the term.
Resolution 59, 2024, sponsored to City Council. Public hearing was held June 11th. We're now in regular session, and it was introduced on June 3rd. A resolution to select the City Council President. Whereas the Glenarden City Charter, Section 305A, President, calls for a president to be selected from the council members during the organizational meeting, and whereas the president of the council shall preside over all meetings of the council and shall perform other duties specified by the council by resolution, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 17th day of June 2024, as follows. 1, the City Council member Derek Curtis II is hereby approved as the president of the Glenarden City Council for a period of 1 year from the effective date of said resolution. And 2, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution? Moved by Vice President Ferguson. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, Resolution R 59, 2024, resolution to select the City Council President is adopted. And I'll just say I appreciate the council's the council's entrusting me to be council president for these past 3 years and this final year. I appreciate that. And I hope that, I will continue to serve this council well and fulfill the duties that you've entrusted me to fulfill. So with that, I will read the next one. Next up is Resolution R-60-2024, a resolution to select the City Council Vice President. The sponsor is the City Council. The public hearing was held on June 11th, 2024. The regular session is today, June 17th. The date of introduction was June the 3rd. Whereas the Glenarden City Charter, Section 305B, Vice President calls for a Vice President to be selected from the council members during the organizational meeting, and whereas the Vice President of the Council shall execute the duties of the Council President in absence of the President, and now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session this 20th day of June 2023 as follows.
Yep, wrong typo.
What did I do?
It should be the 17th day of June 2024.
Oh, thank you. Sitting in regular session this 17th day of June 2023 as follows. 2024. Thank you. City Council Member Angela D. Ferguson is hereby approved as the Vice President of the Glenarden City Council for the period of 1 year from the effective date of said resolution. And number 2, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Is there a motion to adopt this
So
resolution?
moved.
So moved. I second it. Is there any discussion? I just want to say that I appreciate Vice President Ferguson being Vice President for these 3 years. I'm looking forward to her serving out the final year with me as Vice President. She has been a tremendous partner and just been a privilege to be her teammate for this time. So,
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President. I want to thank the council for the nomination and approval of this office for the last about 4 years. And it's been a pleasure serving as the Vice President and working under you, Council President Curtis. Thank you.
okay. Any opposition to this resolution? Hearing none by unanimous consent, R-60-2024, a resolution to select the City Council Vice President is adopted. And last but not least, R-62-2024, a resolution authorizing the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland to break for recess. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 62-2024, sponsored by the City Council. The public hearing was held on June 11th. We're in regular session June 17th, and the date of introduction was June 3rd. A resolution authorizing the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland to break for recess. Whereas pursuant to Section 304A of the City Charter, the Council is authorized to cancel regularly scheduled meetings in the months of July and August, which have customarily been reserved for the City Council recess. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden, sitting in regular session the 17th day of June 2024, that 1, The City Council of the City of Glenarden does hereby cancel the regular meetings for the months of July and August 2024, during which time will be in recess. Special meetings, 2. Special meetings shall be called by the clerk to the council upon request of the president of the council or by majority of council members. And 3, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon approval.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt this agenda?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, take that out. Okay.
President, I have a question on this one.
One second. Madam Clerk, the number 2, special meeting shall be called by the clerk to the council upon request of the mayor, president, or council, or majority of the members of council. The mayor should not be.
Yeah, that's why I didn't read it.
I'm sorry. So, a typo. So, any other discussion? Any opposition to the amended resolution? Hearing none by unanimous consent, this, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Thank you so much. Relative to the city charter, section 304 meetings, the meeting shall and can be called special meetings by the clerk, council upon request of the mayor, president, and the council, and the majority of the members of the council. That is not a typo. That is in accordance to the charter of the city of Glenarden. I do request that be put back. The mayor can call meetings as special. Thank you.
Not for the council.
Yeah, it's in the charter.
Okay.
Charter section 304 meetings, and it's
1 second.
category A.
Thank you. Any opposition to approving the resolution as amended? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the resolution is hereby adopted. All right. Next up on the agenda are administrative reports. Are there any questions from the council on the mayor's report, the mayor's report? Okay, moving on. Next up is the city manager report. Mr. Simpson?
Yes. Good evening. I just want to give a quick update on a couple of items relative to me taking on the acting city manager position. First of all, good evening, council, mayor, and citizens of Glenarden. Just a couple of brief updates to the manager's report. Currently, we are, and I am reviewing all processes and prioritizing the objectives and projects of the city. We are working with Monday.com. Myself, as well as the human resources specialist, have both received our certification there. And moving forward, we are looking at using and utilizing Monday.com to be able to prioritize, identify all of our projects, our processes. I think there's a great opportunity to be able to get some organization relative to that, and to provide a bit of transparency so that the council would be able to peek in and see and understand what our daily processes are and where our projects are and the status of such. And Monday.com definitely affords that opportunity. Quick update, a new bus has arrived. A proof will be sent out to the council to be able to review what the graphics will look like and determine, the council can determine what graphics we'll go with. Update on GPS for all city vehicles. We did have our June 10th meeting, follow-up meeting last week. That went well. AT&T was there, Prince George's County Fleet Management, GPS Lockbox, as well as city officials present just to review the remaining vehicles that needed to be installed. That's being scheduled for June 25th and 26th, Tuesday and Wednesday. The vehicle 122, Cruiser 122, it did sustain some damage and needed repairs. It has been fully repaired and is operational and is functioning properly. During that time, the 25th and 26th, Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll also remove the GPS device from the older bus, place that on the new bus that's just recently been purchased, and between those 2 days, we'll have all devices installed on all city vehicles. The 7th Street Park playground equipment is scheduled to be delivered on Monday, July 29th. At that time, construction will begin. There will be updates sent to everyone relative to that. As far as the completion time, we'll be able to tell you that exactly. It's approximately 10 business days with the landscaping as well as the full install. Sidewalk and street improvements that were approved by resolution last month will be beginning soon. I've determined and worked with NZI to look at the streets that were mentioned in that resolution. An email will be sent out to council as well, just to verify those streets so that we can proceed accordingly. And that is it for now.
Okay. Did you just want to knock out the Public Works report as well?
Yes. Public Works. Kind of touched base on a few of those same things in the
Just high
city
level,
managers.
If it's nothing else, it's
Yeah,
fine.
the only other thing I'd like to mention there is that the vendor was selected for the hazardous material report. That work will take place on June 28th at 9 a.m. to determine any hazardous material for pre-construction of the elevator as well as any renovations or remodeling project that gets approved by council.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
One more. I'm sorry. Any questions from the council? Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you. Acting City Manager, that vehicle, 122, the repairs for that vehicle, did the city incur that cost, or was that cost to have it repaired given to the vendor that?
Fleet Management did provide us with the costs associated with that. GPS lockbox, we're submitting that to their insurance company for reimbursement.
To the insurance company of the vendor or?
Of the vendor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes, and I just want to be clear. So the problem with 122 had nothing to do with the GPS. It had to do with some frayed wiring.
It looks like it was done because of some frayed wiring, possibly due to the installer, not the actual device.
So not the device. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I do have a follow-up on,
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's Mr. Simpson or the treasurer. Well, yeah, he's on the combined, it's HR. Question, I did send out an email before, and it may be between you, the treasurer, and Ms. Schultz, about a 403B plan. Have y'all looked into that?
Yes. So I have actually got a response from the Mutual of America, and I will be sending that out to the council as early as tomorrow. That will be coming out to you, giving you the breakdown as to the different areas where we could save for the employees and where it will be more feasible. But let's look at it tomorrow. I'll send that out.
Okay. One thing, I know you have a request in to increase the contributions that the city do in the 457?
It is the flap. So the increase would be 4.5, but I think it's 4.5%.
Up to 7 point?
Rounding us to 7%, yes.
Okay, because I guess my thing is, if we're looking at changing to a 403B, should we be increasing that? Should we be adding money to that fund, or can that fund be rolled over into a 403B? Or, I don't know.
And that's the understanding I'm getting from Mutual of America, that although we have these amounts in the flap, that amount can be rolled over in a 457 when that needs come. That's why I was saying, let's move ahead. We have the fund in the account now. Let us bring ourselves up there. And when that time come around to make that decision to move into the 457, it should be a smooth transition.
But I guess with the 403B, will we continue at a 70%, I mean, a 7% match in the 403? I mean, a lot of people do like up to 5%, but we're going to do 7%. Right now, I can see 7% in 457 because there's really absolutely no. I mean, you basically cannot retire from the city of Glenarden with what we put in there now. There's no way in the world you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second.
Yeah.
Ms. Schultz, if you're going to speak, you have to actually come to the podium and turn on the mic so those online can hear you.
What we're looking at, you're getting the 457 and the 403B confused. The 457 is the one that the employees currently have the ability to contribute. The 403B will be replacing the current flap. And so therefore, you were saying 457, 403. 403 will be replacing the current flap. If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dean, if we decide to go with the 403B, employees have the option of rolling over whatever funds they have in the in the flap to the 403B, or they can pull it out. And of course, if you're underage, you will get penalized.
So with the 457,
457 is different. What they were checking while Dean was in training last week, and I'm not sure if he received the response to this, was if we could have the 457 and the 403B. That was the question, the big question that that Mutual of America was double checking, because they're basically both retirement plans. So my question to them and Dean's question to them was, can the employees, the few employees that we have that currently have the 457, if they could continue with that 457 separately like they do now, and then the city will do the 403B in lieu of flap.
why would we? So with the 457, that's only city contributed funds. Okay, but I mean that's employee contributed funds.
Exactly.
Contributed funds.
Only.
So they won't have an option to roll that into.
They may.
Because I don't understand why we would have two when they can.
That was their question as well. Right now, the flap, which is totally obsolete to anybody but us. Right. The flap and the 457 are two separate entities. The 457, the employees have the option, and there's very few, but the employees have the option to contribute into the 457 themselves. City has nothing to do with the 457 whatsoever. The 403B would replace what we currently have as the flap that the city is currently putting into.
So we maintain the 457 though, but they contributed to it. It's a plan that we basically manage, I guess.
Right, like we kind of own it. We own it,
we own it,
but the employees are the only contributors to that.
Okay, yeah, because I don't see why we would maintain both. I think
and that was
just
one of the questions.
403 to get better.
That was one of the questions that both Dean and I had to Mutual of America, and the employees that currently have the 457. Well, they have the ability to take that 457 monies that they've put in and roll it over into the 403B.
Okay, because I mean, I just think this needs to be done sooner than later.
Well.
Because again, with what we have, I remember an employee retired from the city of Glenarden. I think she may be left with $30,000 after 20 years, and that's you know.
And like I said, we have been dealing with them. Then Dean went off, and they answered the questions that you requested. Is what they sent to Dean. So they are working on it, and they're waiting basically to hear from us. And we basically told them that we will take to the council what we have. But if council has questions of Mutual of America, we suggest that Mutual of America come and talk directly with council.
Yeah, okay, that'll be good. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good. All right. We'll move on. Is the code enforcement?
I'm here.
All right. There we go. Mr.
Good
Green?
evening. Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Council, I believe you all have a copy of Code's report. I'd like to point out a couple items, then answer any questions. Code enforcement had an in-depth conversation with the owner of a large commercial trailer being parked on Ewart Street. The owner agreed to no longer park his trailer there within the city. And since that conversation, I haven't seen that trailer back within the city. The code enforcement manager attended Supervising with Confidence class held in the Gold Room, sponsored by Legit. We were also notified by the city attorney that the owner of the property located in 8700 block of Glenarden Parkway filed appeals to the cases won by the city in the district court. Now the cases will have to be adjudicated again on the circuit court level. As of today, we have not received another trial date. Code enforcement has selected a candidate for the part-time position. He started on June 10th. Code enforcement has received inquiries from citizens, and we are expecting more with commercial vehicles because code officers have been issuing notices informing them that commercial vehicles are not allowed within the city of Glenarden. Citizens have expressed to code that their quality of life will be negatively impacted by not being able to park commercial vehicles on the public street or in their driveway. Citizens are requesting solutions to this problem. And finally, due to the resignation of a code enforcement officer, there is now a vacant position, and the ad is currently running to fill this vacancy. Any questions?
Any questions? Hear none. We'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you, sir.
Treasurer Stewart, the treasurer report.
Thank you, City Council President Curtis, Mayor Cross. Good to see you here, and the citizens. Mr. Curtis, is it possible that I could share my screen?
Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Yes. And you just make it a little bit bigger for at least those in the room. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is the City of Glenarden's financial report for the month of April. These are just the highlighted areas that we'll be focusing on.
Pardon, Mr. Stewart, could you move the gallery window to the side so we can see? Right there.
I moved it, but it's not.
Right there. Slide it over. There we go. And if you could just project your voice, that'll be great.
I'll try. So, through to the month of April 30, 2024, the city's revenue was $7,252,832. Expenses were $6,599,631, which leave us with revenue exceeding expenditures by $653,201. Next page. For the month of April, there were real property tax installment receipts of $15,848. I should explain that during the year or the fiscal year, majority of the funds as it relates to tax payment comes between the months of October and January, as you could see in this graph. As it relates to general fund, as at April 30, we have amount funds of $5,149,701. Of this amount, for local taxes, we had $3,963,000, and this is year-to-date numbers. License and permits, $117,000. Grants, and this mainly is the SAP grant of $78,588. We had transfers in of $18,784. Service charges, as it relates to disposal of garbage and so on, is $579,520, and other financial sources were $392,542. The Go Room, in April, they have received $2,880. Of this amount, $700 relate to deposit refund, leaving them with $2,180. To date, I must happily say that the city's cash balance remains sufficient to pay its outstanding bills as they become due. Currently, as of June 13, 2024, the main operating account had $1,750,690,000. The forbearance account, $7,078. Go Room account had $254,510. Block grant has $4,199.37, and the cable PG grant had $356,898. In total, we are looking at a current account having $2,373,376. Currently, the ARPA grants have been doing a little better. I've seen some application come in, but we still need more people to come in and apply for more grants as it relates to the intergenerational poverty and the community resilience fund. These are, as we are at the last 3 months of the year, these are our position as it relates to our spending or our receivables in this case, compared to our budget. So compared to the budget, the actual receivable so far is $5,149,701 compared to the budget. This is approximately 86% of the budget. For expenditures, and let me go back a minute. Sorry, I'm missing a page here.
Mr. Stewart, just want to give you
I got
a time check. You have about 60 seconds left.
Okay, so given the time that I have leave, I want to move forward to the real tax rebate program for 2024. And currently, we have paid out approximately $318,000. This equates to approximately 636 applications that we have processed so far. That program has been a little challenging, but we are working to get through all of it, to get all of the applicants their funds as quick as possible. For those who do the ACH payment, for those especially, we are working to get those in. There was a little backlog that we are trying to catch up on. For checks, though, it's just a pity because the bank takes approximately a week to get the checks to the residents, and it gives us another push to get it done, but we're working on it. So thank you for it. That's the treasurer's report.
Bill.com.
Okay.
I do have a question. As it relates to the, do you know how many open applications we have for the tax rebate? Approximately?
Approximately, what I have seen, approximately 80 is left.
About 80 left?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what happened is more application has been coming in recently. And this is another thing that I wanted to bring to the community's understanding is that we would like to cut off as of June 30th for receiving applications. So anyone who have not sent in their application to date, please, I'm asking you to get them in as quick as possible so that we could start processing. Now, understand, even after June 30th, we will still be paying anything that is outstanding, that has been received through to June 30th.
Okay.
Yes.
Before I go over to Councilman Herring, asking my fellow council members, I'm wondering if we want to extend that timeline, giving, one, it's, it's new. It took a little bit of time to get off the ground. There's a little bit of confusion in the beginning, and I think it will be in the citizens' best interest for them to have more time to capitalize on this rebate and possibly advertise it a little bit more so that people can get their rebate. Now, I would suggest July 31st, but open to one, is it possible? And I would guess it is.
It is.
All right. And to council members, would you agree to extending it for an additional month for citizens?
Mr. President, man.
Councilman Harry?
Yeah, because I actually was going to bring that up because if we're looking at about 2,000 households and we only got 600 applications, that's, a little bit more than 25%. Yeah. I think we can do better than that. So I mean, a lot of what's happening is a lot of people think it's a scam, and they don't want to send the paperwork in. Mm-hmm. So as I reach out to these people and say, hey, send your paperwork in, it's for real. Now they're like, oh, okay. So I think word is starting to get around that it is real, and so we may pick up even more. But I think also, did we put word out in Spanish? Did the notice go out in Spanish?
I can tell you that we have been getting a lot of application from Spanish.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure
but
have missed out. But have the notification now.
But notification in Spanish, no, we haven't done that.
We need to do that.
So I agree with extending it.
Yeah.
And what we have noticed too is a reduction in applications coming in. We are seeing a slow reduction happening. But I guess we need to really get this word out again. Yeah. And as you say, encourage people to understand that this is not a scam. Right. This is the real thing. My only concern about extending it over June is because I want to keep this in the fiscal year for 2020.
It's not included in the budget.
Well, actually, it is in the budget because the budget just rolled over because we didn't approve it. So the new 2025 budget now has $1 million in it or $1.4 million in it for. So we had to approve the budget by June the 15th, I think it was, or something like that. About the second Monday in June. Otherwise, the
Go back.
budget, the original budget rolls into effect for 2025. So
Okay. But how does that affect when we do, and I expect we will have a budget in the next
Right.
coming
So-
couple weeks?
right,
So
we'll have to amend. We basically have
Amend
to
it.
amend
So-
the budget.
So no problem. I could accrue whatever I am getting as applications now. So we'll just do a dual basis where we accrue whatever we have been getting so that we could keep it in 2024.
Oh yeah, for that piece.
All right? Yes.
But not the
yes.
new,
Pardon me?
not new applicants. New applicants will be in the new year.
The one, that's where I'm a little,
So we'll just have to put funds in the budget for that.
for that.
Yeah, for 25,
Yeah.
25, yep.
They're already in the budget. So
So
Yeah,
until,
once it's passed, yeah.
So until the end of the year, whatever we are receiving, we're going to be accruing that. That's why I'm saying the payment will continue. It's just that the receivers, if we could just have got them before the end of the year, would keep it in 24. But as you're saying, Councilman Herring, the fact that, you know, the budget will carry over to next year, we could put a little amount in there to accommodate that.
Mr. President.
Yes, Councilman.
Well, couldn't you just accrue the balance left over in that line item, the total balance? And I mean, I mean, the auditors will correct it.
Yes, yes,
We
we
do
could
the
do
audit. You'll
that.
just adjust it.
Yes, that's the best
Following
thing I
year.
could do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the treasurer?
Yes, question. Business licenses. I'm looking at the business licenses on page 1 of the summary report, and we have we're showing a budget of 36,000, but we only have 12,935. So we're like $23,000 under budget. Are we going to get that? It seems like we should be really over budget because we had new businesses, and so where are we at with the business license?
So over the years, what has been happening is that they have been budgeting for June 30th. No, they have been budgeting, for June 30th. In other words, the business license, the process of billing actually starts in late May going into June. So during that time, you will see that pickup in revenues coming in for business licenses. So right now, that is happening. And you will see that in the next, in the May and June report.
So, but these are business licenses for 2025.
Yes, it's something that was happening
We
from
invoiced them
before.
early, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
so I'm just trying to catch up and get it corrected
Okay.
now.
And with again with fingerprinting, I'm just not seeing it. I'm just like we are like still way under budget in fingerprinting with live scan. $12,000 under budget, and I look at the expenses, and they're about the same as the fingerprinting. I mean, as a revenue. So I mean, that's just another concern of mine.
Okay.
Again, I guess I ask you, NCIC, why are we not charging anything for these NCIC scans? What is NCIC, and why aren't we charging anything?
I don't remember what NCIC is again, but they're the ones who are sieges. They're the ones who, as a matter of fact, they don't charge for people who come in for the NCIC.
Okay, but we do.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I in my opinion, for our service charges, I
Yes.
think we should
be charging, and we should be charging.
because it's staff expenditures
Exactly.
that we should be covering.
And I'm seeing that again, that we're not charging that $20 fee, and we need to charge that $20 fee no matter who comes through, because again, like you said, that's a service fee that we're incurring for the staff person to run these fingerprints through the system.
However, we need to contact CJS to confirm that it is okay for us to charge our fees before, because I would like for us to get into any situation with that.
We're looking at the paperwork. They say we can charge whatever fee we want to charge. They may not charge, or their fees are this, or their fees may be free, but we can charge whatever we want to charge for the service. So, I mean, you can check with them and see, but I'm sure, when I talked to them last time, they're like, you can charge what you want to charge. Because most people charge like 30, I think some people charge like almost $60-something. Almost the same, well, $30-something is about the same amount as the actual $31.25 that's charged, so that they can break even at least, but.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I guess, yeah, all right. That's it for me. I'm good.
All right. Hearing no other comments, that's it for administrative reports. Now I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Chief, Acting Chief. I forgot about you. There's one more report.
He was hoping you would. He was hoping you would.
The Chief of Police report. I apologize.
Do you have any questions?
No, you got it, sir. You're going to have to come up to the podium. He should talk about.
The picnic was good.
Mm-hmm. Acting Chief.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good evening.
I have the chief's report. Everybody has a copy. I was advised by the chief if you had any questions, I can answer them for you.
Okay, so let me just first commend the police department for the police cookout that you guys had on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you guys. I mean, you have it every year. Give an opportunity for the community to come out and meet police officers. I know in September, August we do National Night Out.
Yeah.
But really appreciate that, and I also wanted to commend your officers on a report of saving a life of a city resident. I know it was Officer Jackson and Officer
Right.
Mm-hmm. Who actually brought back to life a citizen of Glenarden. So just appreciate the work that your officers do day in and day out. I know that sometimes you can hear the opposite side of the policing, but it's good to have more good stories like that of the hard work that you guys do every single day to not only keep us safe, but to save lives. So appreciate you and your officers, and particularly Officer Jackson and Officer Wright.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I will pass that message on to them.
All right. Any other questions for Acting Chief Jackson? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just double check before I move on. Now that concludes our administrative reports. We're moving into citizens' comments. Citizens, this is your time to speak on really whatever you want to speak on in a very respectful and professional manner. Each citizen will have 5 minutes to speak. Please use your 5 minutes. You don't have to use your 5 minutes, but if you have questions, please ask all of your questions so that if you want a response to your question, that we won't take up your 5 minutes, because if you ask a question and we speak, that is included in your 5 minutes. So ask all your questions first, and then we will respond. With that, just rules of decorum. As the chair of this meeting, that I am, ordered to keep the peace of the meeting. If someone breaks the peace of the meeting, I will warn you. If you do not heed to that warning, then I will ask one of our officers to escort you out. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, you can speak your mind, just don't be disorderly. So with that being said, If you're in the building, please raise your hand. I'll call on you, and you'll go to the podium, state your name, state, I guess, the ward you're from, and then you can speak. If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you do not know how to raise your virtual hand, you can briefly open your mic to say something. I'll make a note of it, and then I'll call on you in order. With that being said, I saw a first hand with this gentleman in front of me. All right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
And I'm sorry, sir, if you could speak up, state your name and the ward you live in, and then you can go.
Yes, my name is Mohammed Al-Shalabi. I am the property owner of 8807 Glenarden Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm here to request that I got a permit from the county, and I got a building permit from the city, and now I'm at the process of getting the utility connection to the property, but the city is holding the permit for WSSC, so they cannot come and connect the utilities to the property line.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm requesting that you lift this is an official stop work order. So this is my concern here, or my request.
Okay. So you're the owner of 8807, and you're requesting that the city release the permit?
Give a permission to WSSC to install the water and sewer line from their lines to my property line, so I can connect from the building or from the house to the property line.
Mr. Simpson?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Reed. So he has recently just applied for his city permits for everything else. The construction had continued on. I believe there was some discussion months ago potentially regarding his particular property at 8807. I also have Mr. Green available. Mr. Muhammad came in requesting that we allow WSSC to do the connection for their utilities. Most of the construction work it appears to have been done. We had told him at that time when he came in to also please submit the application for all of the other permits for the works that have been completed. All that has been submitted, and where we are now is getting approval for that, as well as WSSC. We held them up because we informed them that they had not obtained the proper permits. And this is where we are right now with WSSC.
So now things are under review, and it'll...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The other permits are under review. Mr. Green is on the line. We have all that information, and we're processing it for approval for the normal permits. But they will require, WSSC will require connection, and that will mean digging into the road and the curbs to provide sewer and water for this particular property.
Okay.
There's a new construction.
Council President, permission to speak?
Mr. Green?
Yes. So, as Mr. Simpson just said, that there were some trade permits that Mr. Shalaby needed. He has, in good faith, put forth all the documentation that is required to move forward in the project. And some of the holdup was because the former city manager required that this property owner come before the council because when the new construction occurred, he never came before the council to get permission to do so. But we all understand there's neither here nor there at this point. So he has fulfilled his requirement. He's come before the council. And so if there's no objections, we will be reaching out to WSSC, letting them know that they have permission to move forward in this project. We've already prepared a packet that's ready for signature by myself and Mr. Simpson to allow this project to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes. I understand Mr. Green just said it's neither here nor there, but it is a here nor there because we have citizens in that area that are looking at that home, especially the man that lives right next door to that home where you built it right up into his window, that the citizens in that area, they don't want that house there.
Yeah, but
They are very disturbed that house, I understand that it's your property, but did you in any way take a look at what you were building in consideration of the other citizens that are already there, residing there, that live in the area, that have to deal with that? That gentleman has no sunlight now coming into his property because of that house that you've built there. And then to want to understand you want to put another one up?
not me. The adjacent lot is not. It's not me. It's not.
I understand from the previous context that the adjacent property belonged to you or your brother.
To my cousin, yes. But it's not
Okay, and
me.
they want to put another one of those houses up, and I don't think that because of the facility that's up, none of those their citizens are complaining daily about that property and how that house came up and just took over the gentleman's house right beside it. There's no property line between it. There's nothing behind. You have no backyard, the front yard, and then we don't know how far it goes over into the next property. There's just nothing around there. And then to bring it in to not to even blend in with the community. This is the issue that citizens are having. They don't want it. They don't even want to see it go any further.
I understand, but I went through the proper channels. I went to the county. I got a permit, and then I came to the city and I got a permit.
Yeah.
And nobody objected at that time.
I get it. So what I will say is thank you for submitting the permits. They're in our office now. Regardless of how you got here and where there have been angst or no angst or people who didn't care, soon you'll be a Glenarden citizen, so welcome to the city of Glenarden.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Mr. Councilmember Herring?
I mean, again, and I mean, I agree with what Councilwoman Jones said. I mean, the house is really obtrusive, and it really affects the quality of life for the person that's living next door to him. But unfortunately, permits have been approved. Yeah. I think, but the one thing that has not been done, because that is new construction, is that this council has never taken a formal position to approve those permits, which needs to be done. So the council really has to vote on the permits that are coming before the code enforcement officer can sign off on them. That should have been done. That should have been done before. It's never come before this council. That's how I got to where it is now, and that is the issue that we're having, is that proper protocol was not followed. Because it should have came before this council, a conceptual site plan. We could have reviewed it. We could have said, no, we don't like it. You could change it, make it conform to the neighborhood. But that didn't happen. But we still need to take a formal vote on the permits that he is getting, because once again, the curb is already open on that piece of property, so connection can be done. Now in the 8805, that's the curb that is we have control over. We don't have to open that one, but this one is already open because it already had a driveway in it. So, I mean, we do need to take a position on approving those permits that have come to the city and take a vote on it. We are going to have a couple of more meetings. I think we have a public hearing or something, and we can vote at the next public hearing next week once code enforcement says everything looks okay. So I think we do got to take a formal position, because again, the procedure was not followed in accordance to the rules laid out for new construction.
Fair enough. Councilman Jones.
Okay, and also understand, even from what Mr. Herring is saying, Councilman Herring is saying, is even though we look at it and we do or not, we don't have to approve it. If we don't approve it, you have to go back to the county, and the county will do an appeal. It will go to the appeals board, and they will relook at the situation again also. So, I mean, it's not that if the city does not, if the council does not agree to the building, it can go back to the appeals board for Prince George's County, and then they will relook at it and determine whether this is something that, because the city does not have to accept the drawings at all.
Yeah, can I say something? When I started the construction, the city, they put a stop work order on that construction for probably 3 months. And they did their due diligence. They went and looked at the property and went to the county, and they found out that everything was done according to the county zoning ordinance and to the city. So they left the stop work order, and I continued doing the work. And now at the end, when I incurred all this cost, you are trying to stop the work again and to go back to the county to look at it once more. And this is going to hurt me financially.
And I completely empathize with you. I don't think that this is your fault at all. I think that this was a flaw in the entire system of building on a non-conforming lot, but that's not your fault. And so, like I said, I respect the fact that you have, once you found out about you not being in compliant, that you worked hard to get in compliant. We have the documents that will be approved, viewed, and according to the charter of the city of Glenarden, which we can look into, but the city council will have to approve it. We'll be meeting again next week, so it's not like we'll be waiting 3 months for this to happen. But to make sure we dot all the I's and cross the T's, the council will likely have to vote on it. And I just, like I said, I empathize with you. This an early welcome to the city of Glenarden. Because you undoubtedly will be a Glenarden resident, and so it just pains me that you have to go through this process. But I also understand the other side of it with just how everything went out. But no citizen was at fault. This was a flaw in the overall system. So appreciate your comments.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. We're good to go. Thank you. It's Mr. Muhammad, correct?
Yes.
All right. I think I saw his hand first. Please state your name and ward, and then you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. Mario Cross, Ward 3. Just to keep it real quick, it'll be under 5 minutes. I'm looking on the website right now, and I do not see the mayoral report listed. I see all the other reports listed on here, and according to the charter, the mayor shall attend all council meetings and make monthly reports to the council and the citizens. And I would just like for the mayor to be able to give her report, because everyone else had a chance to go through their report and be able to talk to the citizens, and it wasn't enough handouts for all the citizens to be able to read the report, and it's not being published online. So for the citizens that are listening online, or that the citizens are watching on YouTube, they can be able to hear from the mayor for the mayoral report, or if the mayor is even able to share her screen and she can just do a run through of the report for the citizens to be able to have a view of it. And that's all I have to bring forward.
Thank you, sir.
Will it be allotted for the mayor time to be able to go through her report?
Do you have another question?
Will the mayor be able to do her report? That's the question.
Are those all your questions?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's it, then you can have your seat, and then we'll respond.
Okay, thank you.
To your first question, I believe, one, I do apologize that there weren't enough packets for citizens who came in. The mayor's report was actually in that packet, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Council Clerk? Yes. So we did provide the mayor's report in the packet. You are correct, it is not on the website. There's no law that says that we have to put it on the website. We have to provide it to citizens. And if citizens want it, please email the city council and we can get extra ones out there. That's completely fine. To your second question, no.
Hello.
Hello.
Dinah Price, Ward 2. My question is, let me just say this before I ask my question, because I have 5 minutes. So my concern is the citizens of Glenarden have voted in the mayor. And at every turn, I feel like in everything that you guys do, every resolution, a lot of the resolutions, you guys are writing out the mayor. You're writing out the power of the mayor. And so in every meeting, I feel like she's not being able to say anything. Just like I didn't get a mayor report. It has always been a mayor report in everything. Why would we not include the mayor that we voted in to the city of Glenarden? You're doing us an injustice, a disservice. I voted for this mayor twice. And so if we're voting, we've done as citizens our due diligence to come out and vote, which is our right to vote in who we want to see represent us. Why would you take that away from us? In the charter, everything that you do affects us. I love the things that the mayor does for Glenarden. I support that. I'm a citizen, registered to vote, as well as all of my other Glenardenians, however you say that. We voted for this mayor. And she's still part of Glenarden, and you guys are not doing justice by writing her out. And I feel insulted that I wasted my time to go out and vote, and she's not representing us in the capacity that I voted her in for, and all of the other citizens of Glenarden. Okay, so number 2 question is, because I still have some more time, I see here on the reports that the gold room, I see that the actual or current year is 0. Can we address that? I don't see actuals for that. And so if you can just speak to that about some of the stuff that's going on with the gold room, I would love to hear that. So that's it for me right now. Thank you. Do we get to yield our time back
No.
at 2 minutes? Okay, I was just wondering.
Mr. Stewart, do you want to first answer her last question?
And the section, because I'm looking at the enterprise fund, and that's for the gold room. And you're looking at the current period, right? The current period is a representation of all the expenditures incurred during that month. So I could tell you that during that month, they didn't have that much expenditures going through. But what you should look at is the current year actual that shows you the accumulated expenditures through to April. For the month of April specific, there wasn't much expenditures going through.
Okay. All right.
It's at 0 now. And I know that we've had activity in the gold room, right?
What I'm seeing here is 11,000. You're talking about revenue?
Current year actual. And the current
What page?
period actual.
I'm sorry, what page are you looking at?
4.
I'm seeing 80,459.
That's special events. What page is that, Mr. Stewart?
It's on number 4.
This would be page 4.
And what's the line item you looking at? My
Total gold room expenditures.
my 4 is special events.
5,000.
Would you have the same thing?
Yeah. Shouldn't have got the wrong. Is that a wrong package?
Is that the?
No, that's something.
Oh, well, she's looking at this page 4.
Oh.
Hold on.
Total room expenditures was 101,000.
Council
And
President,
this is on page 26.
Dean, can you turn your mic on? They can't hear you.
Thing.
Sorry. The very last paper, you'll see the gold room total expenses was 101,123. The revenues was 80,459. For funds, which is the enterprise fund, you will see 80,000. This is on page 8.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I see the same thing. Total revenue is 80,454. 459.
And expenditure.
Total expenditures is 101,123. So it's not zero. All right. Thank you. It's page 8.
I'm on page 8.
Okay. And to your first point, I fully understand that there are supporters of everybody, right? You know, if you vote for me, I have my supporters. If you vote for the mayor has her supporters. And I fully expect, I can understand that supporters will go all the way with whoever they voted for. This council has been patient, has acted professionally, and has given every opportunity to work well with the mayor. Me personally have extended a good amount of effort to be on the same page so that we can better serve the citizens of Glenarden. I'm not going to rehash the story of what I've had to go through in my attempts for diplomacy. But quite frankly, the mayor has burned every attempt at it. It's unfortunate. Of course, you'll have a different perspective, but what you'll find that this council is united, and that is our responsibility to protect the city. And whenever someone goes out of the way to and act in a careless way that puts the city in jeopardy, then it's incumbent upon us to stand up and do what we need to do to protect the city. There's nothing that the council has done that has not been a repeated infraction by the mayor. For example, when you say you're writing the mayor out of everything, well, it's not out of everything. But we did remove her from signing checks. But there's a reason why we removed her from signing checks, because she wouldn't sign checks of people she just didn't like. She was showing favoritism. But I'm not speaking for you.
And I'm done with it.
So, Mayor Cross, I am the chair of this meeting. You're out of order. I did not put words in your mouth. I'm just speaking facts from where I stand. I didn't say that this is a universal, everybody in the United States agrees with me. This is from what I see, from what I have experienced, from what other council members have experienced. There's no negating the fact that this has been a tumultuous relationship, and not necessarily so. As been repeated, I was on the same ticket as the mayor. We all ran and went out there together. And for me, it just went south when I started seeing some things that I didn't necessarily agree with. Whether it be suing the city of Glenarden and asking the judge to make her the mayor of the city of Glenarden. And even before that, I reached out to the mayor before. She would have had no problems winning that runoff election. She had no problems winning the runoff election. Multiple people reached out to her. She knew it, and she sued the city anyway. I'm exhausted with reaching my hand out. I've told the citizens that I will continue to reach my hand out. But at this point, when I've been lied on by the mayor, to the point where there was a lie told to the police, and the police came to my house thinking that I've committed a criminal crime, where I had to go to court the next day, where the judge pretty much laughed it off and tossed the case because there was no crime committed, where she accused me of falsely imprisoning her and the city manager. And the city manager, who was in the same room with us, came to court and said that it never happened. In fact, the only person who was unprofessional and who was irate was the mayor. And at that point, the judge threw out everything. Now, in the complaint, she said that I imprisoned her for a total of 5 minutes. That's pretty simple, one, if that ever happened. Two, it never happened. There's a camera that sees me going in the conference room and sees me leaving in under a minute. With that, it could have been a simple call to me, but no, there was a sheriff that knocked on my door. I remember at 12:05 on a Tuesday morning, where my wife stays, where my now 9-year-old son stays, where my 7-year-old daughter stays, waking people up to a knock on the door for a complete lie. Now, the city manager at that time did not have to come to my defense, but she did. And the mayor, even though she came as my witness, the mayor called her as her witness, and she proceeded to say that never happened. I never held anybody against their will. In my opinion, this mayor will go to any lengths possible to get whatever she wants when she wants it. If things don't go her way, she'll sue you. She'll lie on you. I had to, in the state of Maryland, which I've learned, I've never been accused of anything. In the state of Maryland, even if you are just wrongly accused, that stays on your record. I had to fight with an attorney, well, not fight with an attorney, but attorney fought on my behalf to get that record expunged on the state level. But on a federal level, if I were ever to apply for a federal job and they say, have you ever been arrested? I would have to put yes. So these are the lengths. To bringing in a barrage of people on a lie, stating that we're trying to remove her as mayor. This happened, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when she misunderstood something, and I reached out to her and said, Mayor, this is not what this is about. And I actually called Councilmember Fareed, and I said, hey, I think the mayor has a misunderstanding of what the Charter Review Committee is trying to do. Can you please reach out to her? So she knew very well that no one was trying to get rid of her as mayor. But even after knowing the facts, she brought in people from, I don't know, NAACP, everybody, news cameras, everybody. still marching on the fact that we were trying to get rid of her. It never happened. And at that meeting, when everybody came with their pitchforks ready to crucify the entire council, everyone understood that nobody was trying to get rid of the mayor. But still, she tripled, quadrupled down on the lie. At some point, we have to get past all of this, whether it be her bullying staff members.
Point of order.
Point of order.
You're gonna stop saying
Point of order.
You're ridiculous.
Now, I'm not a staff member, but a staff member has said this. I'm not a staff member. This is not something that I am making up. So she can be incensed all she wants to, but a staff member has complained to another staff member who she said, "Oh, you know I'm gonna lower your salary, right?" This is not things I am. This is not something that I am in control of.
Mr. President, and I understand we want to get everything out there, but maybe we need to move forward.
I'm just trying to thoroughly answer the question, and I
understand.
I will move on.
I understand.
But to this point where people are coming in and just pointing the finger at the council and pointing the finger at the council, this is not an accusation. This is no slight to you, Ms. Price. I'm not saying that. But I'm exhausted with the council does a lot to try to stand up and fight for this community. And I will end on that. So with that being said, I apologize if I was long-winded, but there's more to even that story. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. But we'll move on. And I apologize for council members. No, I'm sorry. And to that, great question. I apologize that you did not have the mayor's report. We can get one for you, Council Clerk, if we can send one to her. There's one right here if you want to read it. If Council Clerk, if you can go upstairs and make copies. Who in here does not have one? One, two. It wasn't in the packet? No. Then, okay. Well, hey, look. Then that was the ball we dropped, and I apologize. That should have been in the packet. And if yes, we can make copies for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody else want one? It was in your packet? Yes.
Yeah, they're in
yes.
the packet.
So it looks like it was in some packets and not in others. And for the
they're in the packet.
It was in the packet. And do you have it? Oh, I'm sorry. There are people who have it.
Here's one. Give them.
Here's another one.
Michelle, she give it to the gentleman right here in the terracotta shirt. Yeah.
Mr. Cross.
No.
Yeah. Everybody, you have it?
Okay. Well, with that being said, again, I apologize for being long-winded, and we can move on.
Can I speak now?
If you state your name and the ward you're from,
good
you have 5
evening.
minutes.
My name is Anthony Powell, and I live in Ward 1, and I have a question for the mayor. Ms. Cross, according to the website for the World Population Review, Glenarden is losing residents each year since 2020. According to their website, in 2020, the city had a population of 6,392. According to their website, in 2024, the population is now 6,144. Is losing of residents something that you are concerned about?
1 second. Is that all? Is that the only question you have?
For Ms. Cross.
I'm sorry. Do you have any other questions?
No,
I don't want her to take up your 5 minutes.
No, that's the only question I have.
Okay. Well, sir, then you can take your seat, and then Mr. Cross can respond. Mr. Powell.
Okay.
You can take your seat.
Did you get the question, Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Council President? Thank you, Mr. Powell, for that question. Now, the World Population Review actually looks at immigration rates and also looks at things like poverty and things that impact the particular personnel that are accounted for. U.S. Census actually in 2020 had us on an increase. So we've actually increased by several hundred new residents, particularly one of the things I will call out in Prince George's County with the transient level development like Alta Woodmore that will be coming with essentially about, enough for about 500 new residents, but they're transients. They're going to be in apartment-like living. There is also a problem, like I said, when it looks at the immigration and it looks at migrants, many of which are staying in residence of persons who live on the ground. So you're looking at maybe 2-3 families that stay in one house. Whereas Glenarden was built as a single-family residence environment, at which case normally you would have one family per household, which would add to the per capita for the property taxes that you're concerned about. So this is definitely something that we should look into, particularly with the amount of development. And as we look at on Bright Sea Road, we're getting over 156 new developments. Ryan is going to be developing houses. All of these type of multifamily duplexes, they essentially do drag down, if you will, our property tax rates because they pay as a whole. Now, ultimately, if you look at our citizenry, we have more people in Glenarden than we had when the 2000 census was taken. So as you see us growing, what we're not doing is accurately accounting for families in households. And that includes elderly children or older children who are still remaining in the home, but they're only counting for really the home taxpayer, which would be the base of the parent, essentially. So I wouldn't say that we're on a decrease, but you have to also incorporate those factors. Now the other thing is household sale. Relative to household sale, Glenarden's 85 years old. A lot of the houses, particularly in Ward 1, coming into Ward 2, have age on them. And that means internally may not have managed to update with current standards of what the new executives and people that are moving out and that are looking for new houses, new families. So a lot of that has to do with how we are retailing our properties that are up for sale, and you've seen plenty come up for sale on Glenarden Parkway just in the last 6 months. So as we look at updates and management of properties, as we look at the migrant immigration push that we've seen come, particularly due to the most of the development is in the state of Maryland, is able to employ those that do not have green cards, but to actually keep them working with an identification number. Not necessarily that they will be buying homes. So therein lies kind of like some data skew as it pertains to the source that you provided. They don't look at that. Thank you for the question.
Are there any other citizens' comments? Sure. Yeah, it was. Please state your name and the ward, and you have 5 minutes.
Hello.
1 second. I'll just ask that you please speak up so the people online can hear you.
Hello. I'm Lakia Sylvester, Ward 2. Would you be able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, I've heard each and every report. I've heard everybody speak on different reports. I did not hear the mayor's report. Did she go over her report? If not, can she go over her report? Being as though I just got the paperwork of the mayor's report. I didn't receive that at first, so I had no knowledge of it. But can she go over the mayor's report like everyone else went over their report?
Okay. Is that your only question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the answer is the same question was asked earlier, and it's the same response. Is no. You have the mayor report in your hand. Phil, everyone has the mayor report now. Feel free to read it. If you do have any questions of the mayor, you could feel free to email her at her email, and she can respond to any other questions. in a report. Are there any other citizens' comments? Okay, hearing none.
Council President, Ms. Crutchfield did have her hand raised. I don't know if you see her. I don't know if she's still on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Thank you, Council Clerk. Ms. Crutchfield?
Good evening. Since you all insist that I speak, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Can you hear
yes,
me?
we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't going to speak. I had changed my mind, but I was asking, I want to know about Mr. Best. I have heard you all speak of him on several occasions, and I see he's back on the table. I'll put it that way. So my question about Mr. Best is, I hope you still can hear me. Mr. Herring gave some really major facts about him. When you all are considering Mr. Best, please consider the facts that Mr. Herring offered, because it sounds like to me that I'm concerned about Mr. Best. Even though he's a grant writer, I write grants, but I don't put my, knowledge and what I do out there. But Mr. Best, thank you, Mr. Best, but who is this guy really? Please investigate further and see who we're putting in place, and if there's someone else, if not him. So that was just my concern. I'm a little bit concerned about Mr. Best, and I know you all have had him for a year or so, if I'm not mistaken. I was moving about when you all were talking about it, but I'm just a little concerned now. So when you all go back to the table about Mr. Best, we have someone else we can put on board. Hey, I applaud it, because I'm not sure after I heard Mr. Herring's statement what to expect from him, or what. I don't know. I'm just concerned. That's my comment. Have a good evening.
Thank you. A point of clarity, you're confusing the two. So Mr. Best is special counsel. That's something completely separate. And there was not a negative word or concern raised about Mr. Best. What you are referring to is the grant writer. So those are two completely different people. And with that piece of legislation, that was tabled. We did not vote on that. Mr. Herring had some concerns. The council responded with a table, and we will go back to the drawing board, do some more investigation, and then proceed accordingly. But Mr. Best is someone completely different.
Please forgive me. I was, like I said, I was driving when I was hearing, but you're correct. I stand to be corrected. Thank you so much. It was the gentleman with the grant writer. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Are there any other citizens' comments? Hearing none, just very quickly, I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but I am going to adjourn to closed session. So it'll be very quick. Maybe even 30 seconds. Pursuant to the Annotated Code of Maryland State Government Article Section 10, 508A, the council by majority vote may retire to executive closed session at any time during the meeting. Should the council retire to an executive or closed session, the chair will announce the reason and a report be issued at a future meeting disclosing the reasons for such closed session. And the reason for this very brief closed session is to discuss a legal matter. And like I said, it'll be very brief. So with that, I motion that we go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, we'll do a voice vote for closed session.
Councilwoman Guillaume?
Yes.
Councilman Hairston?
Yes.
Councilman Herring?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson?
Yes.
And Council President Curtis?
Yes.
All right. Vote carries.
For that, the open session of this meeting is now closed. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys have a good evening. Good night.